well, I'm going to try this. I found something at our local thrift store that puts better light on. Not that that makes any difference whatsoever for this ugly mug. Um, but this is my first set review of 2023. Welcome to 2023. And it's not, well, it is classic space, but it's not classic space. It's Blacktron, and it's the latest version of Blacktron. Yes, we drove to the Lego store today on January 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, whatever it was, to pick it up. And because I had to. So here's the set review for set number 40580, Blacktron Cruiser. 356 pieces. Came out in 2023. Officially, there was some places that had it in 2022, but officially wasn't dropped until January 1st, 2023, which is fine. I waited three whole days to go get it. And it's also fine because I knew I was going to get it. Straight up, this is one of the boxes I'm going to keep. I don't keep too many new boxes at all. After I usually build a set, the boxes usually go in recycling or become fire starter. I've talked about that before. But this one, because the back, and this is what saved it, the back is so reminiscent of those old sets. Like this whole box, even the grid lines, it's so reminiscent of the original plastic space after, I would say 1982. I can't remember when they started using the lines, but this is just a beautiful box, and it's small enough. I'm just gonna collapse it like that, and I'm gonna put it on the shelf somewhere and keep it. I don't think I'll be getting more copies of this. On a quick tangent, just to start the year off right, I don't buy a lot of new sets. For me, I don't. And so I don't get a lot of VIP points. I don't look for the huge discounts. Well, I do look for discounts. Don't get me wrong on that. But what I don't do is I don't. Some of my friends buy a ton of Lego from the Lego shop at home and at the store, and get VIP points. I will say that I can't remember the last time Sandy and I traded in VIP points at the store, because we go to the Lego store every month when we go have our Lego dinner, or dinner with Dave and Sandy, or RTL Toronto, which is Retro Toronto Lego, not the other one. So Sandy and I still do the dinners now. We're spooling up the dinners every second Friday of every month at the Swiss Chalet in Toronto. So we leave from my office, and to get to and we usually have dinner at 6:30. So there's always time, an hour, to go to Sherway, to go to the Lego store at Sherway and have a look. And usually I buy a Bic-a-Brick cup of parts that I don't have or parts that I want. And Josh gets a small set to build while we're at the Swiss Chalet for dinner. And so gradually, very, very gradually, we build up VIP points, because, of course, I do have a VIP card and an account. And so we went there today because, well, look at that, because we didn't want to wait till like 2 Fridays from now, because this thing might have been gone. So we went there today, and I had to buy $250 worth of Lego. Should have had a drink before I started this. And I'm going to say, I looked through the store, and there are so many, and I want to say this as clearly as possible. There are right now so many utterly fantastic, awesome, beautiful, gorgeous, wonderful sets at the Lego store. So many of them, but none of them are for me. Like, really completely directed at me. Now, if I had unlimited funds, I'd buy them all. If I had unlimited space, buy them all. But I don't have the funds. I don't have the space. I'd rather save my money for a trailer, so we go more camping. And so I'm very picky. I'm very meticulous. I'm very, very, I think Meticulous is probably not the right word. I'm very, very picky as to what sets I'm going to buy at the Lego store, even though they're all awesome, like straight up. And again, I want to be very, very clear about this. Lego makes fantastic sets. There was a brief period in the 90s where, but lately they've been knocking it out of the park so many times. And they got these wonderful master builders. They put a lot of effort and they put so much stuff into building these or designing these sets. And I absolutely admire and appreciate and want them to do it more. And, but it's not for me. It's for the hobby in general, to keep the hobby going. And a lot of my friends buy a lot of sets. And I'm even becoming friends with those people who are collectors. And usually I don't know collectors, but I stopped by a Lego sale, a private get together at the hall there a couple weeks back, and there was people selling sets that they purchased to sell in the future and charge more for what they pay for it. And I personally, I don't want to go off on too many tangents. I personally don't have a problem with that overall. What I did have a problem with today and yesterday, Sandy and I were out looking for collectible minifigs. We were. And all the stores in the area had zero, a grand total of zero. The Lego store had a grand total of, today, had a grand total of zero collectible minifigs. They were all sold out. They were released at the beginning of the year. So 2 days ago, and they're all gone. And we found out, well, we actually knew it beforehand, that there's a person in Hamilton who, again, becoming friends with, but basically they drove to all the stores in the area and they bought the box, the entire box, leaving none for the rest of us. That again, am I bothered? A little bit. But am I going to fault them? No. But anyway, let's get back to review because I've gone on for too many tangents already to start the year off right. Very, very happy with what the Lego company has been putting out lately. And so I had to come up with $250 to get the gift with purchase. And this is the first time in a long time that I have to go get the gift with purchase, because usually I just don't care. So, but that said, I do have Easter small little box over there that was the gift with purchase like last year. Anyway, so we walked into the store. I had to find $250 to so I could get the gift with purchase, and this is just a complete want, not a need. I wanted Optimus Prime, and there's a whole other story about Optimus Prime and Transformers and me that's more personal than anything else, and I won't bore you with that tangent today. Maybe sometime in the future, if and when I do build Optimus Prime. So I got the Optimus Prime, but that's only $220. So I had to buy something else. So Josh bought a set for him. That was fantastic. So we got over the 250 mark. And then with the taxes, it was 280 something. And then the guy goes, "Oh, but you have like $100 worth of VIP points." Oh, really? No idea. And as I said, to start this conversation, I have no idea when the last time we used our VIP, but it's got to go over 2 or 3 years. Now, some of my friends will get those VIP points combined from all the stuff they buy from the Lego store, like in months, because they buy thousands of dollars worth of Lego, and they actually know what's going to be released, and they say, I'm going to want that, and I'm going to have this many VIP points, and I'm going to, so I don't have, if the bill's going to be 100, 500, I don't have to contribute $150, whatever. So, but that's what they do, and that's their fandom. They love that kind of analysis, that kind of planning, that kind of, oh, I get to buy these many sets, add these many VIP points, I'll have this much money to come off the bill, and blah, blah, blah. I don't have the wherewithal, and I don't buy enough to actually put any effort into that. When I do buy, I do put on VIP points. But don't get me wrong. Every time I go to the Lego store, oh, here's my VIP point. Here's my card. Here's my email address. Whatever it is. We even did that down in Legoland. So VIP points. But I don't buy enough to really, really focus on getting as many VIP points as I possibly can. But it was nice that today the guy goes, "Oh, you have $100 worth of whatever," and so the bill from 288 became 188, so which was nice. And so I got Optimus Prime, except for Josh and this guy. So let's get right into the review after 10 minutes of me going off on tangents. 10 minutes of anyway 4540580. I don't have the original setup, and I was thinking about finding it in one of the bins outside, but it's cold in the garage and I'm not going to go out there to do a comparison, because this is the review of this guy. Should I want to do a comparison, I'll do it later. Now, this was a fantastic build. It was a fun build. There are it is straight up is all stickered. There are no printed parts except for on the minifig. There are no printed parts at all, so all the Blacktron logos you see on here, including the arrow, the yellow arrow, are stickered. That's fine. I don't care. So let's just have a close look at it. Look at it gleam. Did it glitter and gleam? Did it span majestically? This is a more closer homage to the original than the 10497 is to the Galaxy Explorer. The 10497 is a complete 1.5% or 1.5 times bigger than the original Galaxy Explorer, and it was supposed to be like that. This one, they tried to adhere to the original as much as possible with new parts and new pieces, and yet they changed up some of the stuff, and I might again do a comparison review later, but today just know that this is more of a direct homage to the original than the Galaxy Explorer 10497 was to the 928, because it does look overall the same scale, the same functionality, the same everything. Now, as I say, everything's stickered on here, including these guys here, there and there and there and there. Of course, a bigger cockpit because they don't have those old canopies anymore. It's fine. But it does have the same, it doesn't use Technic. It doesn't use the pin like the old Blacktrons used to do. It uses the clippies. And the clippies connect to this piece I've never seen before, but the little bars in between two 1x2 things, not plates but rounded plates, and it clicks together like that, and that works. Did not see that happening. Okay, so that's a bit of a faux pas, and I'm gonna have to fix that. I was playing this thing for an hour and a half upstairs, and it never did that at all. So there's a little thing here that I completely disintegrated. My bad. I should have been a little, I guess, more gentle with it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find all the parts and pieces to put this thing back together whilst I'm making the video. So I'm just going to do this really, really quickly. Boy, do I want to put that on backwards. Boy, do I feel stupid. So just like the Galaxy Explorer, there are certain places that you can hang on to and certain places that you can't hang on to. Oh, well. So anyway, it is what it is. Boy, do I feel dumb. There's back together. I will say, just to start, that this piece looks wonderful, and it's a good homage to the original, but it is pretty breakable. That's what we just found out. But anywho, so it does all go together just like the original, but they use the clippies instead of the pins. It's back together. Yay! And it comes with the robot, which I think I lost an arm somewhere. It might be in here. I don't know. It is missing, and I'll find it later because I'm sure it went flying. So I'm not going to worry about it right now because I'm doing a review 14 minutes into it. So it does come with a robot with 2 arms, but one of mine's missing because I just shattered this thing to pieces. Don't let that deter you from buying the set, because the set is awesome. It just has, you know, a little less robust than the original. So it does come into the 3 pieces that the original did. There's the front part, there's the storage part, and then the back part. But the back part, they changed up because it also comes apart. which the original didn't. So this comes off and this comes off. So this thing actually, and this is the one I find a little tough, it actually has more functionality, more parts and pieces to put together than the original, because the original only came with broke into 3 different parts. And so you can put this piece by itself right on the back of here, and put the engine somewhere else. So they added a little bit of change to it, a little bit of more functionality, more parts and pieces to mix and match. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. But again, you can still put this thing on the back of this guy like that, and then you have this guy. The solar panels, or whatever you call them, the red panels, whatever you wanted to call them, they're exactly the same size, but they're black on the bottom, and they just put 1x2 red trans red tiles on top, because of course they didn't probably have these things in trans red anymore. They use the different hinges to do all this stuff, which is kind of neat. So because of course all the original hinges don't have them anymore, that's perfectly acceptable. This thing, let's get into it, because it just of course broke when I tried to take it apart, just because I put my thumb up here to take it apart and it just went psh. So don't push down on here. It just shatters. In order to make this storage container without using the castle corner walls, they came up with this wonderful idea. I like it, with the flags, or the big solar panels that they used in the other sets. And then there's a storage in there, and there's a little bit of a mailbox in here, or a safe, whatever you call it. It has 2 black bars in it, which is kind of neat. So they put some effort into this to make it look like the original, but also have some functionality and different stuff in it that the original did not have. Tools in here, there's tools right there, a screwdriver and a hammer. And the robot, for me, it did fit back here, because there's a little panel for him. Oops, let me just, let's take it out. I don't know if you can see it. There's a panel right there, in there for the robot to control. And so he goes right there, in there. He does fit, although not too well, because it hits his head when I put it down. And these panels fold down like that. And Bob's your uncle. And then the whole thing goes back together. I do find sometimes the clips are a little harder to take apart than the old pins, the old Technic pins that we used to use back in the day. But I just did that wrong. There's no wrong there, because you can just kind of mix and match. See, they're just, I keep on doing off screen, but it is just a little more difficult to take this thing apart and put it back together on some of the parts and pieces, but that's perfectly acceptable, as they say. It is, for me, going to be more of a display unit than trying to mix and match all the pieces all the time. I got to keep on thinking that, remembering to put it on the screen so you guys can see it. The wings fold out just like the original. None of it is 90 degrees like the original. The wings on the original were 90 degrees. This one is not. They have fixed stops to stop it from being 90 degrees. Again, not a reason not to get it. I do not mind a delta-ish. I think they call it a delta, where it's like got the little well, it's a obtuse angle because it's greater than 90 degrees. Unless you go here, then it's an acute angle. But from here to here, it's an obtuse angle. It doesn't go to 90, so I guess this side is an acute angle. And here, it doesn't go perfectly. Well, it does. I should look at that better. So these lines are parallel to the ship. These front shooters, or whatever you want to call them, very, very reminiscent of the original, but a lot cooler. I enjoyed that. But as you see, it is a really, really nice looking space set. And the build, as I say, was a lot of fun to do. A lot of nifty building techniques, especially trying to put these panels on the angle that they did there. I thought that was kind of neat. I did find that there was a lot of pieces for the sake of a lot of pieces in here. But a lot of small pieces, like 356 pieces for this set. And again, I don't know what the original had, because again, I didn't pull it up, but I already did a review on that a long time ago. I'm glad I got it. I wish it wasn't a gift with purchase, because I would have bought I would have bought more of these had it been for sale on its own, especially if it was underneath $100. But considering it was a gift with purchase, and then you had to spend $250. I mean, I bought it off the Prime. It's pretty easy to spend $250 in a Lego store right now. That this was a fantastic gift with purchase for me. It's probably going to be one of the last ones, or it's very infrequent that I care about a gift with purchase, as I said. So the color scheme, again, extremely reminiscent of the original. I do find they added too much yellow in certain spots. But overall, it looks like you get the yellow line right there, right through. It's like the original. The bottom stripey looks like a B. If I remember correctly, the bottom of the original used 2x2 inverted slopes all the way through. The yellow and the black were 2x2 inverted slopes, and this one went just yellow. So they reduced the amount of yellow shown. I think it looks a little better than the original, because I did find that the original, the yellow stood out too much on this guy. Like the Renegade, the yellow is perfect. In the Batrax, mostly perfect. The base behind me, I don't know if you can see it. It's right up there. You probably can't see it. It's too high. I always thought they didn't have enough yellow, but they had a lot of trans yellow in it. This one I always thought from the original. Again, I should keep on saying I'm not going to do comparison, but here I am doing comparison. The original had too much yellow compared to the rest. This one, it's almost perfect. And again, I like that stripe of yellow through here, so I wouldn't change that. But during the building, there was a lot more yellow hidden inside, and that's fine, I guess, for hiding yellow. Nice canopy, straight up. And the view screen is almost like a HUD, a heads-up display. They use a trans yellow 1x2 tile. And again, you can see right on his cockpit console, it looks like it's chasing the 10497. Or that's on the radar anyway, because there's a 10497 silhouette right there. That's cool. It really is. So this thing, I don't know if it's supposed to be a direct in the same universe as the 10497, but I'm glad they did that, because that's fun. I find that to be very, very fun. Yeah. About everything else, the stickers look fantastic. I never liked putting nice glossy stickers on slopes that have all the molted, whatever, not molted, the unsmooth, but not coarse, the semi-rough slope pieces. Because I always find, especially in the olden days, the stickers would come off because it wouldn't stick, because it's not perfectly flat. And they did it here on front and back, even on the console inside. Again, a lot of people have been complaining that they weren't printed. I would not fault the Lego company for not printing them, because that would have increased the price that they could build this thing or release this thing with. And they would probably have to sacrifice some pieces to do that, to save the money on the pieces. So I don't mind the stickers. And the Blacktron logo is fantastic. It's one of my favorite, next to Classic Space. It is possibly my favorite logo, because it's simple and yet it conveys exactly what Blacktron is. So I don't mind the stickers. I'm sure there's going to be third-party sticker sheets coming out pretty soon. I'm going to probably buy lots of them, because again, I want to build more Blacktron, and I don't have the printed parts to build Blacktron sets. So I'm glad they released the stickers, and I can guarantee my friends out there who make sticker sheets are going to make that sticker sheet that came in the set. The instructions I thought were cool on their own, because they do almost like a blueprint-ish line drawing of the set on the front and just the logo on the back. I think that's awesome. It's like top secret information, like or even like one of those books that you got for your pickup truck or the Enterprise, where it says how to fix this thing, and so you got the line drawing of whatever vehicle in the front, and I can't remember what it's called, but I have one from my Dodge. The instructions themselves, very, very clear, concise, as always. I a lot of people complain about the sets, the instructions now, and we can do talk about that as a comparison. The instructions now versus the instructions 30 years ago. Whereas the instruction booklet 30 years ago would be like 1/3 the thickness of this. Like there are, how many pages in here? 75 pages, 74 pages in here in this instruction set to build this set. And so what happens is that for most steps, there's only 2 or 3 pieces per step. Whereas the older sets, of course, they didn't even tell you what pieces that you needed in that specific square, and there'd be like 15 of them. So I get that they made it easier that way, but that's just historically, that's not the set's fault. This is what they do. And I'm getting to the age where I actually like that now, because I can walk away at any time. It's only 2 or 3 pieces, and I can finish that instead of having like 15 pieces. And there are so many, even when I rebuilt the Mega Core magnetizer, there were so many steps where I missed pieces that I was supposed to put into that during that step, because it doesn't tell you what pieces you needed, and it doesn't tell you, there's like per picture, there's like 15 or 20 pieces you have to add. Also, Lego has changed a lot since I was a kid, whereas right up until 1977, most sets were just basic pieces, bricks and plates and slopes. And so when you built the fire hall, you could build the entire base in 2 steps, because it's just stacks of 1x2s with an arch on top for the firehouse, blah blah blah. And so you could do that kind of thing and just show a picture and whatever. But now this thing is 356 pieces, and it's basically smaller than the firehouse. So it's like you have to have very, very comprehensive and clear steps. And so I do really like the instructions, and I really do like how they did this. And I don't have the 10497, but I wish they did. I wish they do more of this. Whereas I would like the 3D linear look at this, so it looked exactly like the old books you buy off at Canadian Tire that had to fix your truck, and it had that line drawing of the truck on it. But this is nice. That's really nice, and that's even better. So in the end, glad I got it. And unless they start selling them on their own, I'm not going to spend another $250 at the Lego store between now and the end of January. So I don't think I'll be picking up another one of these. And I can guarantee that these are going to be online, probably already online on either Bricklink or on marketplaces or other places for sale. Because most people, when they get the gift with purchase, they sell it. They're good. I think this is going to be an expensive set in a couple months. And I because you can only get one for $250, and so you have to spend $500 to get 2. So, and I ain't doing that. But I'm sure there are people out there who have already done it, and already have multiple copies, and they're going to sell them, and they're going to charge more than $250. Well, I don't know what you're going to charge, but for me, I'm not going to buy another one, another gift with purchase. If I find these things on sale on their own at the Lego store afterwards, I don't think that ever happens with gift with purchase. But if they do, I'll be buying it then. But as I say, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But anyway, I'm going to end up like this right now. Just put this whole thing on the screen right there. It's a wonderful looking set. Oh, I didn't bring up the minifig. Really, really quick before I end this, before my battery dies. The minifig itself. So this is the minifig. And whoosh, uno momento, por favor. Let me just reach over here. Oh, into my wall of figs. No, not that guy, because he's missing a hand. I didn't realize that. I'm gonna grab this guy. Yeah. This is the new one, and I have to watch this because I could get mixed up. This is the old one. The print, I didn't take a magnifying glass to it, so you know those people who say, "Oh, it's different if you take a magnifying glass to it," from plain text reading, just looking at it, the print is identical to the original, and the original came in 1987, so that's over 30 years ago. The print on this one, the new one, is identical to the old one. Now, Sandy pointed out the minifig smile. Let me just get this thing up here and just put my hand behind it so it hopefully focuses. There's focused. The minifig smile is slightly darker, but that could just because my minifigs are worn out. But I think the minifigs in the olden days had a very smaller print of the minifig happy face, and this one's a little darker, right? This is the new one that just came with this set now, and this is the old one. But other than that, you can see the torsos. This thing is not focusing on the torsos. Are identical. Fantastic. Like, honestly, when I saw that, because I was thinking, like, because this is the one that came out within the Space Police 3, right? And I have a bunch of these because they're cool, and I made them look exactly like the original. So, and then there's this guy that came out, and this. Oops, let me just drop that. The CMFs, right? So I was expecting something like between those two, because these things are recent. Like CMF, I don't know what series that was. It wasn't that long ago. And Space Police 3 wasn't that long ago. But the fact that they went back to the original, I think that's my hat's off. I thought that was fantastic. And I do thank them for that they put, I mean, it's just like the red and white guys that came in the Galaxy Explorer. Pretty much original. They look like the original, even with the original helmets. So nicely done, Lego. I do appreciate that they paid homage to the original, but they didn't re-release the original set in its entirety. They revamped it, made it better. They reissued it with the newer parts. But the minifigs stayed identical, just again like the Galaxy Explorer 10-487, as original as possible. So I do salute the Lego company for that. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing that they did, and I really do appreciate it. As a classic space fan, as a guy who's been collecting this stuff for 50 years, 40 years for classic space, I really do appreciate that. So anyway, half an hour review. There you go. The 40580 review in the books. My first review of the year. On that specific note, I have not built the 699. Let me get this thing back in here. Put it right there. Get rid of that. Just got this thing while we're wrapping this up. I do not have a 6991 built yet, because that's going to be my last review for the 6880 to 6991. I'm in slow-mo right now. I'm like utter slow-mo, because I am doing stuff around the house. So, but I will get there. And then people have been asking, I will be doing the other numbers, the 6700s, the 1300s, all those 1968s, all those other odd numbers that are outside the classic space range of numbers. And I think I mentioned that I did not buy Mars missions and missions. Well, I got most of the missions. The orange and white and the trans orange, I have most of those. But the other, I think it was Mars missions. I always forget those two names mixed up. The ones with the cute minifigs. I didn't get a lot of those, and I only got them in used lots, so I'm going to be probably skipping that one. We'll have to see if I can build any of those. But I'll keep you posted. But for now, the first review of the year is an utterly fantastic one. Glad I got it. It's going to go up on the shelf, on display in my room. And because it's the original, I think it's slightly longer than the original, but it's to scale to the original. I can fit it in the layout, unlike the 10-497. This thing will fit on the layout, and so this thing will probably be on the layout as I do shows, because I do like it so much. It also makes me want to do a Blacktron layout, and I just haven't gotten over the effort. I have to get straight in my mind what I want to do first. So I do say that if I were to give up my classic space layout, that I would build an ice planet layout at some point. But Blacktron is a love of mine, and I would love to do a Blacktron. But again, I would never ever compete with Blacktron Intelligence Agency. Go look it up. go Google Joe Mino's video of the Blacktron Intelligence Agency from years ago, before I even started doing big layouts. It's just a sight to behold. That's it. No more tangents. Let's start the year right. Let me straighten my shirt, my Canadian defensive play. Everybody out there, I hope you're having a good New Year. I missed making these videos, and I want to say that I'm still here. I'm still happy, and life is good, which is awesome. And yeah, everybody stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to you soon.